there, crying to be heard. But I got a new fire burning my heart, lighting up the darkness and moving like a meteorite. Oh, fire! Oh, fire! Just falling. Oh, fire! Oh, fire, fire, fire. Now I believe there comes a time when everything just falls in line. We live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts are healed by faith. Now I believe there comes a time when everything just falls in line. We live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts are healed by faith. Now I believe there comes a time when everything just falls in line. We live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts are healed by faith. Now I believe there comes a time when everything just falls in line. We live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts are healed by faith. Now I believe. Oh, fire! Oh, fire! Oh, fire! Oh, fire, fire, fire. Now I believe there comes a time when everything just falls in line. We live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts are healed by faith. Welcome to ReneMarie Stroke of Luck. I'm ReneMarie, and this is my co-host Judy Marlowe, and we're so happy to be here. We're sorry about last week, but I thought it was better for everybody, for safety reasons, to stay put because of the snow, and it just gets too crazy. I know that on Sunday it was supposed to ease up, but
in New Jersey, you had a lot more snow than we had in New York.
Yeah, we had 3 to 6 inches, but not only that, but when you get up in the morning and then you'd have to, clean the cars, and and then they'd have to salt, and then it was better for us to hold off and just, for everybody's sake, and to do it today. And today is beautiful outside.
Yes, it is.
It's beautiful. It's almost 50 degrees out, so, and the sun is shining, and it's fabulous. So we're glad that we held off. I put a announcement on our my Facebook page about a telethon. Did you see it?
No, I didn't.
Yes, go ahead, Judy.
May 3rd,
9 a.m.
9 a.m. to
I think it's 3 p.m. right, Jim?
9 to 3 on May 3rd.
So we're so excited about that. We're really pushing this year to really lift the bar, as always. But it doesn't matter what we do, because our telethons are so filled with love. And I mean, Alicia will contest to this, because she was on our. But didn't you feel the? I'll bring you on in a few minutes. But didn't you feel the power?
I did.
When we did that Christmas show.
I did.
And just the love.
The power was so wonderful.
Yes.
I was elated for days.
Yes. Yeah. I'm telling you. And that is what this show is about. Bringing love and hope and peace and joy, and just to everyone. So we're positive that our telethon is going to bring the same power. And I'll let Judy announce what we invited Alicia to be a committee member for our board. And
we're so excited because most of you know that I'm half Cuban, half Italian, and my mom's been on the show, Mayra Prado, and we've spoken Spanish. We've done a number of Spanish shows, but my mom travels around the world, so she's not able to help us or be a part of it on a regular basis. So we have a new member of our board, and Judy's going to share with us.
I'm going to read it from
Okay, great.
Okay. Alicia Moss. We feature returning special guest, Alicia Moss. We are so excited and honored that she has joined the ReneMarie Language of Love Foundation team. And she's joined it as the executive director of the Latin Spanish Committee branch.
I'm so
And we
honored.
are so thrilled to welcome you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And when we bring Alicia on, we'll chat with her a little bit. But we really wanted to share with everybody our excitement and our vision. And we still have this vision, and we'll keep track of who's on it. But our vision is to have one representative in every state of the country to work with the Language of Love Foundation. So that's our vision, and we have I think we have 4 or 5 states covered right now, and we have Demont, who's traveling around the world, around the state. Okay.
Hi, Demont, if
Hi,
you're
Demont.
watching.
We have to have Demont recruit.
Oh, that's right. We never
I
thought of
gotta
that.
have Demont recruit. He's on him and his wife are traveling, living in a home, a mobile home. And
I apologize, but I cannot think of her first name at this moment.
I think it's Dina. D. You know what? Tell us what it is, Demont. I think it's D. I think it's D. But thank you so much, Demont and Alicia. And today we have a wonderful guest that Alicia brought to us, Barbara. How do you say your last name? Hart. Who actually experienced brain trauma.
No, I had a traumatic injury as a result of a fall.
Okay, so she had a traumatic injury as a result of a fall, and she really has written this wonderful book. And she has so much information to really bring to everybody, and we're so excited to be able to have her as a guest. And what a wonderful segment for Alicia to come on onto our committee and to bring this wonderful story to us, and we're really, really excited about it. And yeah, we're doing really wonderful work.
Fantastic.
I'm really proud of our foundation and where we're at, and I just can't believe that it's been almost 6 years that
It's not almost. We're in 6 years. In the sixth year.
No, we're doing the 6th year of the telethon, so our foundation is 7 years old.
Oh, pardon me.
Yeah. Time just flies when you're having fun. We're having fun.
Yes, but it has gone so fast.
Yes. So thank you so much for everybody for joining us. I see everybody's joining us, and it's really exciting. And Judy, go ahead. Y'all let you share. How many shows?
Oh.
How many views? Jim, you ready?
I've lost track of the exact number, but we're talking about information is power.
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power, and it's a life-saving video that is being shown worldwide. And the last I looked
on
Facebook alone, we had 13,300 and something.
Yes, that's awesome. That's awesome. And the other exciting part of that is that through Village Connection Network Media, we have gotten attached to Altice. Is that how you say it, Jim? Altice, and that's a cable network. And we were just approved in New Jersey to run our shows. That's why we keep it at a 1-hour segment, because we take it now and we upload it to New Jersey, and we're working on uploading it to Long Island. So we're really pushing to spread the awareness to everybody, and really our shows are so powerful because they're more than just information as far as strokes. And this is our next show, and we'll share with our next show is about love. And to us, love is the most important thing in recovery, in life, in the world. It helps you heal, and it brings hope to people that you have love. And sometimes love doesn't come from your family. You know, we look to see that it comes from a family. Sometimes it's little angels that just pass by in a wink, and just bring you that support that you need. And you need to be open.
And sometimes it's sitting in a meeting and somebody Skypes in or calls in and has a conversation, and my lights go on, and I'm going, this was ReneMarie that called in, and I got so excited I could not wait to hear more about you.
Thank you, Judy. And Judy,
that's how we met.
Yes, Judy is. I have so many angels in my life, and
you are definitely an angel.
Thank you.
In many people's lives.
But I think that everybody is angels to me, because I couldn't do my God work and my visions and the work that God asks me to do without everybody around me. So it's really important. So thank you so much. So our next show, tune in 1 hour at 10 o'clock, probably about 10:10 we'll do it. But please tune in, because it's going to be a really important show about love and recovery, and we're going to finish our conversations about 2019. We have so many things going on. I even posted on Facebook our What a Year photo, so please scroll on Facebook, and this week I'm going to finish uploading everything to our website. So we're very excited about everything. But Jim, open up the floor, because we have too much to talk about with our wonderful guests. As the floor opens up. So both of you, Alicia, how are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you.
Good.
So delighted to be here.
Thank you so much for being joining our team.
It's such an honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And speak a little bit in Spanish too, para nosotros, para saber.
Sí, para mi público
Sí.
latino.
Sí.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Soy Alicia Moss y ahora voy a trabajar con ReneMarie y con Judy Marlowe y con Jim.
Yes, see, she just said that she's going to be working with us for the information for our Language of Love telethon, our Language of Love foundation, and the Stroke of Love TV show. So we're really happy to have you.
Para mí. Gracias.
Gracias, gracias. So we're going to do a whole Spanish show. It's probably going to be the second show or the first show, whatever they decide, in March. Am I correct? In March, tentatively?
You'll be back.
Look for it in March.
Yes.
Look for it in March. So, Alicia, introduce your friend, Barbara, who, when I was reading her bio and her information, your determination and your striving to make a difference. And correct me if I'm wrong, but after I had my stroke, I felt like it was a second chance at life. And what was I going to do with it? Was I going to waste it, or was I going to really listen to my calling? I don't know, you're faith-based, but mine is listening to God, but you could call it your calling to do what you really need to do in life. So introduce your friend.
This is Barbara Hart, and she's just a fabulous friend. I love her.
Love you too.
We've been friends for a couple of years, and she's just an amazing person that can do anything that she wants to do.
Well,
So let her.
thank you.
Thank you for being here, Barbara.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Barbara.
Especially
Pleasure.
for switching gears
Oh.
very quickly, both of you. I thought it was better rather than come out in the snow and have to risk
Oh
somebody's...
no, that was a good choice on your
Yes,
part,
yes.
definitely.
So, Barbara, tell us a little bit about your story. What were you doing prior to your
Oh my
accident,
God. Well,
your fall?
I became a social worker in my late 30s after I divorced my husband, and I needed to find a way to make a living. And then I realized that social work really doesn't pay that much. So I went into the business world and I was selling. And I was making money and things were okay. And that was the time that I had this big fall and broke a lot of bones,
Wow.
ribs, back,
Where were
wrists. I was home.
Wow.
And so I really couldn't work for almost 3 years, but I did feel at that point that I wanted to get back into social work, and I wanted to work with people that had traumatic injuries. But I didn't even know about brain injury. I thought bone injury.
Yeah.
But I got somebody recommended me into a program in an agency, and I was hired and they had a little traumatic brain injury program. And that's where I started to get my education about stroke and brain injury and all different kinds of things that can happen to the brain.
Did you suffer a brain injury?
Well, I didn't.
How did you fall? Like, what did you hurt when you fell? I mean, I know you hurt bones, but what specifically? What did you break?
I broke, it's kind of gory. We should have that viewer discretion. I fell down. I was cleaning something. I had a flat deck upstairs in my house, and I was cleaning something. And then when I got up, I pushed against the railing just to get up, and the railing gave way.
Oh my God.
That's what happened, yeah.
So
I fell this way.
oh my gosh.
So I broke my wrists, my head,
So you did have
my cheekbone, my ribs, and my back. Many.
Were you home alone at the time?
No,
So how did you get help?
that's when I think about it.
Little angel.
I was inside, and now when I fell, I was outside
outside the house?
on the deck.
Well, on the
I landed outside on the bottom,
Oh my gosh.
and I crawled to the door to get in and kicked it with my foot, and crawled through the house.
Wow.
And there was a point
Just the
when
mindset to be, after having such a traumatic experience,
Yeah.
to think like, okay, let me save myself.
right. That's,
I mean, that's amazing.
yeah. Well, the will to survive is tremendous. I always say, if you want to step on an ant, it'll run.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's amazing, but I didn't want my children to find me like that. That's really what kept me going.
Wow.
And then when I got out, somebody luckily was walking by, and then I don't remember
Wow.
anything. They told me they shut down Merrick Road because I live in Merrick, and they to South Nassau.
Wow. That's
But that
unbelievable.
wasn't really the place for me. It wasn't what it is today. It was a smaller hospital. But one of my daughter-in-laws works at New York Hospital, and they had me transferred there to the trauma division.
Wow. Wow.
And that's when I knew that I was going to be okay.
Wow.
But that was after quite a while. I was there for about 10 days.
Talk to me about your inner voice, because I mean, I know when I was laying in my stroke and I couldn't talk.
Mm-hmm.
Could you talk?
Yes.
I couldn't talk, but I remember seeing my father and his girlfriend standing there, and me crying out to him like, "I'm okay. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay." But I was in a state. I suffered a major stroke, so I was like, in
You
the
couldn't
bed, and
voice it. You were thinking
Did you
it?
hear what they were saying?
it was like a fog.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was almost. It was. Did you ever watch the movie Heaven Can Wait? Is that what it is?
That
Like
was
when
with Warren Beatty?
it was all a blur.
That was a good one.
Yeah. That's true though.
Yeah.
That movie. It's funny because movies like that actually you think is something that's created and thought about, but it comes from a real place.
Well, when I was transferred over to New York Hospital by helicopter, they took me by helicopter. They landed in a school in Oceanside, the helicopter. And when I got over there, I realized, I just lost my thought of what I was going to say. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I was
Oh,
asking
okay,
you-
I got it.
Okay.
So they did the tests all over again, all the scans
Right.
and everything.
Well, that just was good because they wanted to have a baseline.
And they were in good, yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so I, looked terrible, and I was already had casts on and the thing around my throat.
Oh.
And so they spoke while they were doing this scan of my lower body. They were talking to each other, and one said to the other, "She's a quad."
Wow.
And I picked my head up. I said, "Are you kidding? I'm just worried that I'm not going to be able to dance. I can walk."
That's good. That was good.
That was how I felt.
Yeah. I mean, I do remember going in for a test. I don't know what test it was, and I remember my gynecologist just happened to be walking through, and he saw me, and I remember just trying to tell everybody I was going to be okay. I couldn't get it out. So I'm just curious about your inner voice, like what goes, because our minds work and they talk to us. So what was your mind telling you at that particular time?
I was in a lot of pain, and I was on morphine around the clock. So I don't have my thoughts. I was aware of the fact that my thoughts were not clear, and they weren't even normal. Sometimes they were crazy from the drugs. So I didn't have that experience that you're describing.
So because sometimes they give you a sedative so that because it really takes a lot of tranquility for the body to be able to heal. Jim just said, like, we understand it. Like, so did they give you any sedative to be able to rest your body, or was that the morphine that they gave you?
I was on morphine 24/7.
So that morphine is like a sedative?
4 hours.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
But
morphine is a sedative?
She did mention that when she fell, she wanted to go in the house because she didn't want her children to find her.
Right.
So that was probably the thought that was happening at that moment.
At that point, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, because you weren't on any medicine.
Right.
No,
Exactly.
At that point, I remember feeling it would be so easy to just go to sleep. I had that. It was like peaceful. I felt, and then I thought, no, my children aren't going to find their mother lying like this.
But Judy brings it up all the time, and this is why we do the show a lot, is you need to surround yourself with positive people. So for them to say that you're going to be a quad,
they should never.
Well, and all the years now that I've been in the field of brain injury, I've heard so many stories from so many different people that have had experiences after their stroke or automobile accident or whatever caused the injury. And very often I hear people say, I could hear everything they were saying, and I was really mad.
Right.
Because you have to be very careful when you think someone's in a coma or just not all there.
Right.
You can't assume that they're not hearing what you're saying.
They can hear you.
Yes.
They can hear you.
You don't know, but you have to assume they can.
They can.
Yes.
When my dad had his massive stroke, a cousin of mine came into the room and said something really negative. And in fact, I do recall her saying something negative when her husband had a brain injury. I had to pull her out of the room that time. And I said, listen, it's going to be positive thoughts, otherwise don't visit.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I can tell you one story I heard that I always laugh. There's a research program in New York Hospital studying people that have been in comas for many years. And they don't really know, are they thinking or they're not thinking? And they're working towards finding out what the cognition is, how much thinking, and then they can start therapy.
I believe that they can hear you.
Well, this is that's been going on. It's a research program.
I think it's depending on the severity of the injury,
Right.
because when things get destroyed. I mean, sometimes it doesn't come back, So if you're in a coma, that's different. If, like sometimes you're in a coma and they're actually just putting you in a coma to be able to relax.
Yes.
Because even when you sing, let's talk about singing, Alicia.
Right.
When you sing, you have to be relaxed to use your diaphragm to be able to fully project your song. So it's the same thing with someone that's in recovery. You have to be very tranquil to be able to allow things to go back to place. Especially in the brain, because I'll let you talk 1 second, Barbara. Especially in the brain, because they need the inflammation to reduce so that everything kind of, I call it defragmenting your brain. Everything can go back to the way that it should be.
Mm-hmm.
So
right.
So, and this is just to emphasize how you should respect an individual that you think might be in a coma. So, what happened was, in order to evaluate this new patient that had been in a nursing home for years, brought him into the hospital for the research, and a neurologist and a neuropsychologist were evaluating him, trying to see if he would respond, blink your eyes, or whatever their techniques are. And at one point, the neuropsychologist told this to me. The neurologist leaned over the patient. He had on a tie, and it was a Mets tie.
Ah.
So she didn't know that it was a Mets tie, but she saw that the tie was like going on the person's face.
Right.
So she said, doctor, your tie. And with that, this person went,
because it probably went.
he doesn't know.
What?
He doesn't like the Mets.
Yeah.
He was talking. He made quite a
Yes.
statement. They knew at that moment.
Yeah, he made a
They
statement.
knew that there was thinking going on, that he was
Right.
locked in.
Right. Right. Right.
And I
That's
just want to
amazing.
mention that people in that state relate to music.
oh my
Oh,
God.
yeah.
Music
Yeah.
and memory
So
is
important.
very important. You
Music
can bring
is-
somebody who
is-
has not been alert at all, seems to be in a fog in another world, and you can play the music from their time, the music that they liked,
Yes,
and they
yes.
come alive.
That's
I
right.
agree.
Well, they use that, and when a person's in a coma, waiting, hoping the person will come out, they say play the music, talk about the
Yes.
past, have photographs
Yes.
that they might see, because when you come out, you don't. If you do, you don't always remember everything at one time. You don't even know, where am I? So all these things.
Wow.
might
So
help.
you went to the hospital. You got transferred to the other hospital. How long were you in there?
I was there almost 2 months.
Wow. And then you went to rehabilitation.
They transferred me from New York Hospital to Hospital for Special Surgery because I had all these bone injuries.
Oh my gosh.
And they have a tunnel underground between the two hospitals,
Wow.
past the
I never
morgue.
knew that.
I remember going.
Yeah.
And
You were going past it though. You weren't going in it.
No,
so-
wow. look
You're
at
like,
that.
not yet, not ready. Sorry.
This is
go
where the
ahead.
morgue is. Now I know where the morgue is in case I need to know. And that's where they did all the surgery. I had back surgery, wrists,
Wow.
or the right orbit, a lot of surgery
Wow.
all the time.
And what did they say about your trauma? What did they say? Like, did you have a severe trauma to your brain?
Well, I was conscious. They didn't really, I was responding, so that wasn't the issue. That's why I really thought that trauma was bone at that point. I really was totally unaware of brain injury.
That's unusual that they didn't.
Mention.
They had many, well, they make their evaluations. They ask you questions. They know, what, how capable you are.
But they didn't share it.
They
didn't
that
share
wasn't
that it
the
was a
issue.
brain
I had
injury.
a lot of issues.
Judy, they could have. I don't even know what I had. And the truth is, I don't even want to know. Because sometimes if you have too much information, it prevents you from the recovery. I think anyway, because you stop yourself. Oh, I'll never be able to walk again. I'll never be able to do this again. I'll never be able to
I
do that
can't
again.
even
Right, Jim?
imagine you having a negative thought in your whole.
But I don't let it. Because I don't let anything in to my world.
That's true.
And Fulvio always busts me because he always says, I got my own language. I have my own
I agree.
and I do. But in life, you have to use your survival skills.
Yes.
And that is one of my survival skills, to just stay in my God world.
I
call
think
it.
you were just born with a positive attitude.
There we go.
No, I just think that I've had so many. I've had so many. I don't want to call them struggles. I've had so many challenges in my life that I've had to learn to, use tools to conquer them.
And you had the right people in your life to
And I
help
had
you with
the-
that.
But not that I'm patting myself on the back. I just want to share this with everybody. That you have to let those people in.
Yes.
You can't
Yes. I
you
agree
right.
completely.
You
Yes.
can't just expect them to help you. I mean, it's like that ship. What the God story about the ship, and I think however they mention it, they always change the verbiage. But there was a guy on a ship and he was praying to God, please save me, and a canoe came past, and no, God's gonna save me, okay, and then a helicopter comes, no, God's gonna save me, and then someone else comes by and, oh, God's gonna save me, and he dies and he goes to heaven, and they go, God, why didn't you save me? What do you think? I sent three people to you.
Yeah.
You never got it, so you never heard that before?
No, I didn't. It's very good.
But it's
that's
it's
a
so
good-
true.
yeah, it
It's
is true.
so true that you
You
have
have
to
to
be,
recognize.
you have to
You
be
have to
recognized.
recognize.
You have to trust. And I mean, I know that you have to stop and feel whether it's something that is going to help you. You know, you have to stay aware, but you have to kind of drive in that direction.
I think that it's also important if you're alone, living alone, to have a medical alert thing that you can press in case you don't have anyone around.
Yeah. But I don't know. So, Barbara, tell us a little bit about your book. Like, what how far after your...
When I got out of the hospital, I thought about it, because what happened in the hospital was, at one point, my lungs were filling up with fluid and they didn't know why. So they called a pulmonologist in from New York Hospital, which is a good thing about those two hospitals, because one is bone surgery and then they have all these other specialists at the other hospital and they work together.
That's great.
So he came in and there was fluid and he had to take it out and all that. And it was quite painful and a long process. And then he said, let's see how you'll be. I won't come tomorrow, I'll come the day after tomorrow. So let's say he was there on a Monday, he said, I'll be here on Wednesday and we'll evaluate. But Tuesday morning, a nurse said, I had a bedside attendant all the time with me, 24/7. She said,
was that by the hospital or was that by your family?
Insurance paid
wow.
those days. It's 30 years ago we're talking about.
Well, only because I know that when my father was in ICU, his wife paid to have someone stay by his bed at night so that we can go home and rest.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the doctors wrote the justification for it. In those days, they were still approving it.
Yeah.
So the nurse said to her, get her ready. She has to go for an x-ray. They're going to inject dye. And so for the first time, I said, who ordered that and why? Well, we want to see what's happening with your lungs. And to me, and that kind of an x-ray would have been an ordeal, getting me in there and whatever. So I said, who ordered that? And she told me the doctor's name, and he was one of the interns or on the floor. Okay. But I said, no, I have pulmonologist is coming tomorrow. I don't want the x-ray, I'm going to wait. And she said, well, you have a right to refuse. I'm going to mark it down in your chart, but you have a right to refuse. And I said, I have a right myself.
Yeah.
What kind of rights do I have? And then I started to realize I have lots of rights. Patients have rights.
Definitely.
Right.
And they're plastered all over the hospital. When you go in an elevator, you see it on the wall while you're waiting for the elevator.
I remember years ago when they started to hand out your
but
rights.
nobody wants to read the small print.
Yeah, right.
But sometimes a hospital may say, especially now, discharge you, because they're not going to get paid or whatever the reason.
Yeah, you're
going to be discharged. You're not. If you don't feel, how am I going to, survive if I'm discharged? You can say no, I don't accept. I'm not signing. And you can call the number to call, and you can get an assessment by another doctor that outside the hospital comes in, evaluates the patient, talks to them.
Very interesting.
It could take a week.
Right.
The whole time that's going on, you're not paying, and you're there.
Right.
You're still there, getting the care.
But does, just because this is what aggravates us, is the insurance. Will the insurance allow you to stay there? If it's on every discharge, and people should know this. Every discharge they give a patient, you have to sign. Somebody comes in, explains, you're going to get this doctor, you're going to have this visit, all that they do for you, and you feel you're not ready. You can say, I don't agree. And if you turn the page over, it says, if you disagree with this discharge, call this number.
Oh.
And
good to know. I
give
never
you
knew that.
Yes.
I wonder if we can get a copy of that. Can you get a
sure,
copy
I
of
can
that?
get you a copy.
Give me a copy of that. Just so we could have...
I'll get you a copy.
Information is excellent.
Yeah. I mean, that's really
You should put that on the website so
Yeah,
everybody would know that.
When I
didn't
first
know
started
that.
working again as a social worker, and I used to be an advocate for people, and this was a major issue, where I'd go into a hospital, a younger woman's mother had a stroke, and they were sending her home, and she really was not ready, and there was no care. And they make the family feel as if you have to take care of your mother.
Right.
Of course you're going to take care of your mother. You are going to take care, but you're not legally responsible. So this woman.
And what if you can't?
This woman
Right.
could. She
Right.
physically
You work or you
Yeah.
physically.
She couldn't do it. It was too. She knew she couldn't do right by her mother. So I went in to the hospital. She asked me to come in, and I said to the doctor, "She's not going to sign the discharge." And the doctor, this was years ago. "Oh yes, she is." I said, "No, that's the law. She doesn't have to. You know that." I don't think he really did know that.
Yeah.
But we went through the process, and she stayed. And the daughter had enough time to get things ready for her, and she was a little stronger, and then she went home.
Wow.
Well,
Something.
She also helped with a friend of ours that, a very good friend of ours that has a son that had a brain injury.
Oh, well, that's, yeah.
And she helped him get established, and that was a
Well,
pretty big thing.
So when I was ready to go back to work, I got a job as a social worker for a brain injury program at United Cerebral Palsy in Nassau County. They have a very nice little brain injury program. Doctors in the area, how it started, would refer people for PT, physical therapy, and different therapies that had strokes, because they have that
Right.
there.
Right.
And they started to realize that they had a lot of people that had brain
Definitely.
strokes, automobile accidents, falls, fights with people.
So sad.
So this, I was telling you this. At that time, people that had brain injuries, some of them walking around looking perfect, and they said it's the invisible disability.
Yes.
Person looks absolutely
Oh
normal.
yeah.
And so these people couldn't function, so they were in nursing homes where they didn't belong.
Right.
So the state decided, let's get a program that we can give them what they need while they're living at home. We can
Right.
send somebody in to pay their
Right.
bills or help
Right.
them and all
Right.
those things.
Right.
And I became part of that process. The state and Medicaid developed that
Wow.
program.
Wow.
And they asked 50 people in the state to be part of it.
Right.
And that's how they start programs. I guess
Right.
they have to do this.
Mm.
And they brought everybody up to Albany from all over the state. Some people-
Wow.
and every month for 9 months we did that. And then they approved the brain injury program. New York State Department of Health / Medicaid TBI waiver program.
Wow.
Medicaid waives what they would normally say, we're not paying to have somebody come in and help you with your bills. But they
Right.
said, okay, we'll do these things so the person can live here,
Right.
better for the person, and she
It is better for
And
the
they
person.
live
you
at
call
home with
Medicaid-
very familiar
Medicare?
surroundings.
Medicaid.
You call
And
Medicaid?
It's Medicaid. They have Medicare.
Do they
too.
still have that program?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
and that's something that you should know, that
Yes.
there are many many services in that program for people.
You know, the sad thing is, and that's why we love to have you on the show, because, you know, a lot of people don't know. You
That's
know,
right.
they don't know their rights, and they get into these situations where they're by themselves, and really the system takes advantage of them, you know, on many levels. You know, I'm not saying that it's specifically the doctor or the hospital or whatever, but I don't think they all work together for the common good
Not
of
always.
the person. Like you just said, you don't even think the doctor knew that. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
exactly.
And the truth is, maybe he didn't, because he's so worried about he's not into the paperwork.
Right,
you know?
exactly. There are a
So-
lot of reasons why.
Renee, remember Deanna and Eddie? She was in the hospital. They wanted to discharge her.
Oh, yes.
And he fought that.
Yeah.
You find
Very
also
same situation.
a lot of Hispanics, Latinos that cannot can't get any help because they can't speak the language, and something happens to them. They're living alone. Who are they going to communicate it to? Where are they going to get this information
Right.
from?
Well, that's something we should research and find
exactly.
out, you know, and support them, you know, and
Absolutely.
have someone to call. Like, you know, we don't have all the answers, but we're willing to help you
Like
find
a helpline, exactly.
Helpline. We're willing
Exactly.
to. Yeah, Demont wanted to start a helpline. We should get on a conference call with Demont.
Okay.
We'll have Demont on the show as well,
Yes.
with Alicia one time,
Yes,
because
yes.
Demont.
That would be
That's
great.
one thing that Demont always wanted to do, was starting a helpline.
I think
You know?
I think that's great.
Yeah.
It's really necessary. Someone that could speak the language, something familiar to them.
Yeah.
And you know, talk about different problems that you're experiencing. You know, the person might not even be able to explain what they're experiencing.
Yeah, and some people get what's the word I'm looking for? Frustrated with, or they kind of don't think that someone speaking Spanish or another language should be in the United States, and they kind of like diminish them as a person.
I hope that doesn't happen in a hospital.
You know what? I'm not going to say it happens, but it happens all over the world. Right. It happens all over the world. Even probably when we're in other countries and they don't like that we're Americans, and we're talking American, maybe we should talk their language. So I'm just saying, like, we all should stop and take a moment and just realize that we're all people, and we all need to love each other. We all need to help each other, because the bottom line is that you never know when something's going to happen to you that you're going to need the help. And that is really the bottom line.
Well, when I just remembered, one of the 50 people that went up to Albany to work on developing the program was a young guy, big guy, looked like a football player, and he had a stroke. So people of all ages. I've had patients over the years, women that have given birth, and then they have.
That's what happened with Renee 6 months after she gave birth.
I mean, it's not very. It's common in my world. It's not common in the regular world. Mostly women don't have, but it does happen.
But because when you're having when you're delivering, you're using your whole body, and like when I had Samantha, she was after. She was my second one after my stroke. I had my stroke. I had my daughter Brittany. Had my stroke, and then I had Samantha. And when I got pregnant, they were so fearful. So when I never forget when I went into the delivery room, they let people know that I had a stroke, and the nurse was another angel, and she came to me. She said, "Okay, let's keep the pressure down. Don't use your head. Let's keep the pressure, the pushing from the chest, not from not using your head." And my daughter Samantha flew out with 3 before the doctor got there. Like God took care of me. God took care of me. Like he's like, well, don't worry about it. We're gonna make this happen. Don't worry. But
that's great.
It's true that when you're given delivery, I mean, it changes your whole body. That's why people have depression afterwards.
Yeah.
And so
Yes.
it's very hard. Very hard.
Even an unborn baby can have a stroke.
Yes.
Really?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Actually,
anyone.
Yeah, there was someone where we were at that Judy's Run marathon. I was singing, and a little girl came up, and she was telling me about. It's online that her brother suffered a stroke. Her brother before he was delivered. So it's very, very scary. Tell us about. There's something. What did you specifically want to talk about, Barbara?
The waivers.
The waivers.
Oh, well, that's what I'm talking about. There is a program. It's called the New York State Department of Health /Medicaid TBI waiver program.
Okay.
Can you say that again slower?
Yeah. NYS, New York State Department of Health. The Department of Health is, they're the umbrella for every program that's related to health. And
were you working with Andrew Ray? Andrew Ray?
No.
Because he was on the commission for the health. He's not anymore. But okay, go ahead.
And this waiver program is all over the state. So we have it right here on Long Island. The Department of Health has satellites all over the state.
What was that statement you said? You said New York State Department of Health, Medicaid,
TBI
waiver
program.
And my trauma brain injury.
Yeah, my next question, and this is something we're going to have to do research on, is do the other states have it?
Many other states, but I can't say every state has it, but many other states do have it.
Because that's important stuff.
Yeah, and each state, it may vary a little bit about in terms of what they provide.
Right.
But in this program, you have to be on Medicaid. So then you come to another possible roadblock for some people. They think they have too much income. But they may not. Or there's a way of getting around that. There are legal loopholes that allow a person that's disabled to shelter some of that income so they can be eligible for Medicaid. Medicaid says, oh, you can have you can't have more than, say, $800 a month coming in, usually from Social Security. No matter
Right.
if you're young, then you're getting Social Security disability. But somebody that is getting Social Security disability may have been a very high-paying worker,
Right.
and so they can get $2,000 a month.
Right, right.
And Medicaid says, well, okay, you spend $1,200 yourself, and we'll then pick up everything, all your medical thing problem. Well, how can you live on $800 a month? I need the whole $2,000.
Right.
There's a way of sheltering the $1,200 so that you can still use it, and you're still eligible for Medicaid.
Wow. That's important
So
stuff.
that's something that people should know about it.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to be on Medicaid. And Medicaid, some people feel they don't qualify, or they're embarrassed, they don't want to be on Medicaid.
Right.
But
Right.
this is a right and a
I-
benefit. We should take advantage.
I just started learning a little bit about the difference between Medicaid and Medicare when my stepfather was going through hospice. Do you know the difference?
Yeah.
Could you explain it, because it was very confusing to me, what was what.
Well, when you're 65 or 67, we all get Social Security and Medicare.
So Medicare is Social Security.
Right.
Okay.
And if you're young and you can't work, because it's all related to work, you retire and then you're eligible. Or if you continue to work and get it, then you're still paying your taxes. So that's Medicare. And people that become disabled and they're young, they're not ready to retire, they qualify after 2 years, actually, 25 months, for Medicare disability, Social Security disability.
Right.
It's all part of Social Security. Medicaid, it's all about your income.
Medicaid.
And then they'll provide wonderful services, transportation. Medicare doesn't pay for you to take a taxi to go to the doctor. If you have a stroke and you can't drive, how are you going to get there?
So the Medicaid.
pays for those.
But Medicaid, do you have to buy Medicaid? You have to.
No, you have to be eligible, and it's determined by your income.
Right, but from what I understood from Pepe, is you have to apply for Medicaid.
Oh, yeah.
You just don't automatically get
You
it.
have
like
to apply
you get
for Medicare too when
Okay.
you're young.
Okay.
When you're
When you're below.
but Medicare doesn't look at your income
Medicare doesn't look at your income. So in what age,
unless you're working.
aside from if you're ill, aside from that, what is the age that you can get Medicare?
Well, it's 67 now.
65.
65 I thought they
Maybe they raised it. We'll check.
No, it's 65. Because
65?
I'll be 65
Woo!
May 31st,
Woo!
and I'm gonna have Medicare. I'm very excited.
You look terrific.
Yes. Yes. So, and these are people questions,
Yeah.
because it's very, once again, if you don't know, if you don't have
Yeah,
resources
it's
to ask,
confusing.
you don't know.
Right.
So if you're getting Medicare, now what do you do about insurance?
If you're only getting Medicare, well, Medicare pays for your doctors 80%.
Oh, they do.
50%, right.
So Medicare is not only an income for you.
Medicare is Social Security income and also Medicare. It's
Okay,
really
that
Social
yeah.
Security. You have to have Social Security in order to have Medicare.
And so, that's another thing. Like, if you don't work, if you don't work in an industry where you're paying into that, when you get to that age, you're not going to be able to.
Well, then they have a different. They have, well, for people that are younger that want to get Medicare, they call it SSI, Social Security. And then SSD is for people that did work. You have to have worked 10 years just prior to whenever the incident happened, 40 quarters or 10 years. If you didn't, then you still get it, but it's SSI, and they give you the $800 a month. That's basically what it's not exact, but it's about $800 a month.
That's an average.
Yeah,
because you can get more.
You can get more. They base it on your earnings, but if you haven't earned,
yes,
then this is what they give you.
Okay.
And it also meets Medicaid's criteria. So when people get SSI and Medicaid, and they're covered.
Well, it happened to me where I wanted to get my Social Security earlier, and I did, but I had never really put that much money into Social Security because I used to have a lot of sales jobs.
Right.
And
You work on a commission versus a drawer.
exactly. So
Yes.
they weren't, you know, of course payments were made.
Right.
So they gave me the lowest that they can possibly give me, but it was okay. It was extra money for me that I needed at that moment.
Right. Wow.
It worked out.
Wow.
They give like $600 a month or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Or maybe even less.
No, 600.
wow. Wow. So this book is really I have to read it, but very powerful. Very powerful that you give all the information that you've
Well,
learned.
there are stories in there of what people had incidents that people went through, and how they could have dealt with them if they knew their rights.
Wow. We have to have you back on because
Definitely.
we need to research and get information and like bring that
Yeah.
form on so that we could scan it and Jim could show it and we'll highlight where it says that. So really that's very
Yeah.
powerful information.
And there's also that people need to know what services
That's
are
right.
out there, and they need to know that they may be able to be eligible for the services. Besides the brain injury waiver program, there's also a nursing home transition and diversion program where somebody is very sick, like we know someone with Parkinson's
Yes.
and living at home, and really as
He's
at
in
risk of
very
being in
bad
a
shape.
nursing home, and we're trying to get him into this program because they'll bring all kinds of services. This is not only for brain injury, but it's
Right.
important because there are
It's
a lot
good
of
to
young
know.
people that have, major health reasons,
Yes.
and they need services.
He was an amazing. He is an amazing musician,
Yeah,
but you know he's old.
he's very,
Very sick.
disabled. Yeah, so
it's just
there are programs like that, and there are also other brain injury programs around. And some people it may be appropriate for some people.
right.
There are some,
Right.
you
So
know,
who do they go to? And I know you're only one person, but who's the
Okay.
where do they go? Like I know hospitals should be the
they should.
but I mean, do they?
Yeah, some they? To some extent, but the New York State Brain Injury Association, they have people all over the state. They have somebody down here on Long Island. She's the contact person. So if you need services, you call them. Anybody could call the New York State Brain Injury Association and say, I live on Long Island. Can you tell me the name of the person that I should speak to about services?
Right.
And they'll connect you with this person.
So this show goes around the world. So they should reach out to the state
Yeah.
and ask them.
Yes.
you
What's
know,
what's going on?
What's,
Yeah.
I mean, you need this happened. And
Yeah.
I need direction.
Definitely.
And it's our show and so many shows are so important to really educate yourself before it happens, because you don't want to wait until something major happens. Because then you're scrambling.
Right.
Yeah.
We always say you got to build that network of people around you.
And you might not even be physically fit to take care of it.
Right, and your family or whatever may not be around at that particular time, so you need to have that support.
I just wanted to mention that we have on Long Island the Brain Aneurysm Center at Good Samaritan Hospital. That's where Dr. Beckelius, who's been a
He is
frequent
incredible, Dr. Beckelius.
and
Have you ever met
James
Dr.
Wall.
Beckelius? I just love his. He's just in it for the right reasons and really wants to educate people. And him and Jason
Wallen.
they're just incredible in the care and the 24-hour a day resources and information,
And they have
networking
meetings.
and meetings. Yeah.
For people with brain injuries that they can go and
Support groups.
support groups.
They have one, I believe, at Southside, in Bayshore. They have one at Nassau County Medical Center that's been going for years.
We should also connect you with Michelle's where I couldn't.
Michelle from
perform.
North Shore.
Yeah, where I couldn't. We should really connect her with, what's her name? I forget.
The last name is.
Anyway, so
I believe it's a long Spanish name.
Because Barbara would be a wonderful source of information for. There's a support group for stroke patients, and they're always looking for.
Well, they
people.
always had a support group. But many years ago, I spoke to their group. The woman that ran it was a social worker who was the wife of a neurosurgeon that was working. Epstein, that was the name, and she ran it then, and that support group stroke group is still going.
Yeah,
it's many years.
Yeah. There's support groups are really important. You know, and I have found, the some that I've been at, that it always goes back to the conversation about insurance, and in the fight that everybody has, everything always comes back to who's controlling their life, and your information is really like, oh no, like it's a waiver of hope that there are avenues that you need to go, and how do you get those avenues?
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. Like, we know the information is out there, but who do we reach out to find that information? And that's really important.
Yeah,
that's really important. So, well, it's 10 o'clock.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Time flies, and we are so grateful, and we would love to invite you back.
I'd love to come back
to really continue this conversation, because the word will spread out, and then and then we just keep the conversation going. It really is very important, very important for us. So thank you so much, Barbara.
Very
for
welcome.
Coming
Thank
today.
you for inviting me.
Thank you, Alicia. Alicia's not going anywhere because Alicia is a part of our team now, and so are you. You're a part of our team. We'll put your book on our website, and
I'll connect you with Michelle from North Shore.
Yeah, that's really important to so that she could give them some hope, But thank you so much,
You're
both
welcome.
of you.
Thank you.
Is there anything is there any last minute thoughts?
No.
No. Okay. I don't want to. I never want to close the door without. No, because sometimes we go off there and I should have said.
Well, you can't say it all. That's what I was just going to say. I mean, I could keep going and going.
I know.
You can't.
I know, but really important show. Really important show, and a lot of information. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to us, and we will. Like I said, I don't have any idea about medical field or insurance or anything, but we have the connections to give you sources like Barbara, that could lead you in the right direction. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Judy, we always blow kisses? Oh, go ahead.
I'm just going to mention again your book, The New Way to Take Charge of Your Medical Treatment, A Patient's Guide. Barbara Hart wrote this book, and try to get a copy of it. It's very important, and it'll be on our website.
Yes. Okay, so thank you so much. We always blow kisses because everything is about love with us. Jim, you ready? You got us all on the screen? Okay, so on three. No. We always blow kisses on 3. 1, 2, 3. Bye, everybody.
Bye. God bless you.
Que haré, yo no sé lo que estoy perdiendo, yo no sé lo que va a pasar. No me puedes escuchar llorar solo sin ti, no me puedes oír llorar. El día que caminaste por la puerta, todo memorias fueron, mi corazón está vacío.
conversation, they're all dead. The lines cut off inside my head. I left here like a broken man with no idea of where I stand. Oh.